Hey, what the? There is absolutely no VADA testing being done for Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Now, I had to talk about this. You know, there's a big fight coming up July 20th. Manny Pacquiao, excepto me promotor, versus Keith Thurman. And it's a very good fight, very meaningful fight, but they aren't doing VADA testing, VADA drug testing. They are only doing the standard commission testing. Now, if you guys remember when Manny Pacquiao was considered to fight Floyd Mayweather, this is years ago, almost a decade ago now. But Floyd Mayweather, he says, I want to make sure we're on an even playing field, I need Olympic-style blood and urine testing. And at the time, Manny Pacquiao's side said Floyd is not the boss. He doesn't tell us what to do. We'll only do the standard commission test. Now, for this fight, I don't know what happened. I don't know, who dropped the ball or, who agreed and didn't agree, or if it was ever, if it ever came up. But obviously, it wasn't written into the contract because they aren't doing it. And a couple weeks out, about a month away from the fight, it's just unfortunate for me, my standpoint on boxing. This is not a accusory video where I'm making assumptions. I just think big, high-profile fights in boxing, based on the severity of what you could do and how you can maim your opponent, kill your opponent, it sets a good example to have this above and beyond testing, because there's ways to beat any type of test, and the people who are hardcore into that scene, they know that, and the harder the test and the more random the test becomes, the harder it is to beat. That's why you've seen guys recently, a lot of people fail just with the WBC clean boxing program in VADA, because you don't know when to flush your system. There's a lot of ways you can have some of your system and like anabolic steroids and different things like that. It's called cycles. You don't just necessarily take it nonstop. You take it for a period of time and then you cycle off of it, and then you get back on it. So you can time that. If you know kind of when you're to test, you could do this in between and circumvent the test, the basic test. Plus, the thing that a lot of people don't realize is a lot of these tests, even something as simple as the STD test, they have to be looking for whatever. They have to test for X, Y, and Z different STDs, to even find it, So there's a lot that goes into it. But for me, I just like on the high-profile fights, the meaningful fights, I think it should just be mandatory. I hope and wish boxing comes up with some kind of circuit, or the state of Nevada, state of New York, these different places and commissions come up with something, especially like Nevada, all the money that the fight will generate, all the money that they generate in Vegas when they have these big showcase fights. It should almost be mandatory, if your fight's selling 8,000 tickets or better, it really should be a thing, So for Pacquiao and Thurman, it just takes away from the attraction, because we have to focus on something else outside of just a great matchup. I think it's a good fight. Keith Thurman knew about this or said something about this. I remember at the press conference, he said, man, Pacquiao could be on whatever he wants to be on. It's not going to help him. I don't care what he's on. I don't think we have any VADA tests. And he was very nonchalant. So I didn't, when he said that, it was just kind of weird. I didn't really like the attitude, because people have already questioned if Keith Thurman still has the drive and the willpower and the hunger to be great and to be the best Keith Thurman. And the Keith Thurman that was calling out names and stuff before the injuries and inactivity and stuff like that, So him saying Pacquiao could just do whatever he wants and be whatever he wants, basically cheat. I'm not saying Pacquiao is cheating, but this is what Thurman said. He says if Pacquiao wants to be on something, I don't know why you would give somebody that type of open invite, you know. And one thing that I stand for too with this new media shit is we got to get boxing back to its rightful place, because I see a lot of people who will take a random shot in the dark, you know, and they'll accuse all types of fighters, especially black fighters, of being on something. Like the Charlos missed a VADA test, and they say, oh, guilty, even though they haven't failed any drug test, you know. I've heard people, I'm not going to list a bunch of names, but I've heard a lot of people where, you know, these guys got accused of being on something. And I'm not naive. I'm not saying nobody in boxing is on something. But the thing is, the fans, the radical man fans, they'll come out and accuse people of being on something with absolutely no type of proof, no real suspicious behavior, things like that. No crazy performances or, you know, weight class jumps or nothing, you know, nothing that really sticks out. And they'll do that, but then they won't even bring up how this fight doesn't have VADA testing, you know, because they like Pacquiao, they like Keith Thurman, you know, especially Pacquiao. Pacquiao's never criticized for his non-compliance with this above and beyond testing when he did it with Mayweather, and then he later took the test like years later. So if it was that and you made all that money with Mayweather, why didn't you just take it to begin with? But nobody wants to criticize that. Nobody wants to talk about it, talk about the double standard, yet they'll take random shots in the dark, especially at black fighters, to say they're on something, you know, just because they're like strong or their physique, you know, just stupid shit. So, you know, it's really just disappointing why this fight, you know, fight of this magnitude wouldn't have any type of testing. To my knowledge, Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua, Canelo Triple G, Mayweather, Pacquiao when it happened, Errol Spence, his fight with Mikey Garcia, you know, all these real high profile fights have recently had it. So I have no idea. And now it's too late, you know, because it's 4 weeks out. So it's too late. They're not going to do nothing now. And I don't know, boxing, I understand it's a fee and it's a cost to do that, but, you know, what is the price of human life? You get what I'm saying? Because if you don't catch people, and people need that, they're jockeying for position, and they need that edge, then that cost is not more than, you know, whatever the fees are. It's not more than a human life. If somebody die in this motherfucker, you know, because they got beat the fuck up by somebody who was juicing, you know. So I talked to yesterday, actually, after the Charlo fight, after the Charlo Cota knockout, Hasim Rahman, and he said, man, cheaters should be banned for life. You know, he was real serious and real strict. He's like, you could kill somebody, you could permanently disable them, you know, you shouldn't even be allowed or considered for the Hall of Fame if you got that attached to your name. He said, I ain't got no respect for that. And I respect him for that, because just taking that type of statement, I'll put the video up in a little bit, but just taking that type of standpoint, he knows firsthand, because he's a heavyweight, you know. He's a heavyweight fighter who's fought Alexander Povetkin and Lennox Lewis and different people, Holyfield. So he knows firsthand how dangerous this sport could be. Let me know what you guys think. Pacquiao versus Thurman, no drug testing.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.